Today on Loyola News Chicago, what closed some streets downtown and why your L ride might take a little longer.
From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Hello and welcome to Loyola News Chicago. I'm Grace Runkle. Here's the news. If you were downtown on Thursday, you may have had some trouble getting around. That's because a rally in support of immigrants took over the streets of Chicago. We have team coverage of the immigrant issues in Chicago, starting with Nader Issa.
¡Escucha! ¡Estamos en la lucha! ¡No! ¡Escucha!
Immigrants across the country are missing work and school today, including right here in Chicago. The protest is a direct response to President Donald Trump's travel ban and immigration stances. Today's rally and march were done in solidarity with a national movement called A Day Without Immigrants. The boycott calls for immigrants not to attend work, not to send their kids to school, and not to open their businesses or spend any money today. Thomas Amaro says his parents are from Mexico, and it's his duty to stand up for his country.
Well, I just wanted to support my race. I'm of Mexican descent, and my grandparents and my parents came to this country to make a better life for me and my family. So it's wrong for anybody else not to get the same chance as we did.
Guadalupe Boss says she came from Chihuahua, Mexico when she was 12 years old and has lived in the United States ever since.
It's said that this comes to this. There are people have to come to the streets and stop our jobs, stop eating for one day, so you guys can see what we provide to this country.
Today's immigrant rally started at Union Park and they marched all the way to Federal Plaza in downtown where hundreds of people are still gathered. People we spoke to said the main goal for today was to spread awareness for the immigrant community and show what they can do to contribute and support the United States. Nader Issa, Loyola News Chicago.
Cities across the country, including New York City, San Francisco, and Boston, participated in the boycott. Here in Chicago, it's estimated 1,000 people showed up in support of immigrants. The majority of illegal immigrants in the U.S. live in urban areas. That's according to a new report by the Pew Research Center. 60% of immigrants living in the U.S. illegally are in 20 cities, but more than 2.5 million live in New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago combined. Here in Chicago, there are more than 180,000 undocumented immigrants, but many major cities like Chicago have pledged to protect their immigrants from federal attempts to increase deportation. Riders may have to allow for extra time for traveling on the CTA. The Chicago Police Department is conducting random security checks, but some riders didn't think they were so random.
The Chicago Police and the Department of Homeland Security conducted a bag search at this red line location earlier this week. Many people are saying the security checkpoint is linked to President Donald Trump's recent executive order on immigration, but the Chicago Police Department say otherwise, saying that these screenings began in 2014 as a counterterrorism effort and take place at various subway stations every few weeks. While some riders appreciate the extra security, others think the checkpoints are an inconvenience.
I think they're a little oddly timed. I get the idea of some extra security. I mean, we all want to be secure, especially in a big city like this, but they seem like a little much.
If they're going to do it, they should probably do a reason why they're doing security checkpoints and more specific. I mean, obviously why, like what is the purpose of them?
I think they're definitely necessary to keep our us going from one position to the other. It's better for us, to keep everything safe and hopefully running smoothly.
The CTA addressed immigration rumors by providing a statement that says there have been no incidents of ID checkpoints for purposes of verifying immigration status anywhere on CTA. You are all welcome. Trisha McCauley, Loyola News Chicago.
As of Thursday afternoon, the checks moved closer to Loyola's Water Tower campus, and CPD was checking bags at the Chicago Red Line stop. For the fourth week in a row, Resist Trump Tuesday protests continued with a crowd of over 200 people outside the Klosinski Federal Building. Demonstrators from the Jane Addams Senior Caucus and Fair Economy, Illinois took to the streets to protest possible cuts to Social Security and Medicare by the Trump administration. Protesters want to put pressure on Congress to preserve benefits.
The reason why these Resist Tuesdays is going on, we want them to make calls write letters to both Senator Durbin and Senator Duckworth to do the right thing and not allow Social Security to be privatized or changed.
Demonstrators marched to the offices of J.P. Morgan Chase, hoping to get the attention of the company's CEO, who is a Trump advisor. Protest organizers say Resist Trump Tuesdays will continue through the first 100 days of the new administration. It's been almost 2 years since Illinois has had a budget, and since then, the state budget deficit has grown to almost $5 billion. That's what Governor Bruce Rauner said when he announced the state spending plan for the next fiscal year. Despite the deficit, Rauner says the state is looking to spend $4 billion more than it's expected to make in the next year. The state Senate plans to make up some of that by increasing income tax to nearly 5% and capping the state's pension and Medicaid funds. Rauner says he plans to put a freeze on property tax at just over 2%. Coming up on Loyola News, why the new bag tax could impact more than just customers, and Loyola made a big change to its Colossus lineup, but students seem to be pretty happy with their decision. More on that when we come back.
Did you know that you're Elmo's plan?
Your plan?
Yeah, Elmo's mommy said that if Elmo is too sick to go to school, the plan is that Elmo stays with Luisa Maria.
Oh, yes, we have that plan all in place.
Great!
You never know when your child will be too sick to go to school. So have a plan ready so your child can stay home and get healthy.
Luisa's the man, because he's Elmo's plan. The man, because he's Elmo's plan.
To learn more about preventing flu, visit flu.gov.
Shoppers aren't the only ones paying more with Chicago's new bag tax. The city started the 7-cent tax on February 1st in an effort to reduce the amount of checkout bags that end up in the trash. But stores are also required to pay 7 cents per bag they already have, and on every buy they bag in the future. While stores are allowed to keep 2 cents per bag sold, some owners say this is not enough. Go Grocer manager Mike Malkowski says his store has been prepping for the tax since last year. He says the tax is good for the environment, but bad for business.
Smaller businesses depend on keeping their costs down and also keeping the product's costs down. If small businesses have to raise costs just to cover that cost, then I feel like it hurts the business in the long run.
Malkowski says so far most customers are bringing their own bags, but Go Grocer is looking into selling its own reusable bags. Loyola's 2017 version of Colossus will look different than in years past. Students filled the Damon Student Center to hear the big announcement. After waiting in anticipation, they weren't disappointed. Students were happy to learn John Mulaney and Trevor Noah, 2 widely popular comedians, would be at Loyola in March. The cookies didn't hurt either. Colossus volunteers handed out insomnia cookies to those waiting for the announcement. Despite the enthusiasm, this year's announcement had a key difference. 2 comedians would come to Loyola instead of the usual 1 comedian and 1 musical artist. Students say they don't mind the change and are still excited.
I saw the cardboard cutouts. I freaked out way more than is probably publicly acceptable, and that is A-okay.
Especially Trevor Noah, because he's so prominent in politics. That's like good for, college and stuff like that.
Well, when I heard that there wasn't going to be a musical guest, I was kind of like upset a little bit, but then like seeing both of the comedians, I'm like really happy.
Colossus is March 17th and 18th. Tickets for students are $15 and they're $20 for faculty, staff, and guests. You can buy tickets at the Gentile box office or online. Black History Month continues at Loyola with an art showcase. The Black Cultural Center is hosting the event in Damon Student Center. Both student and community artists will display their work. All the pieces will emphasize the Black experience. The event is free, but the center is suggesting a $1 donation to go toward the Flint water crisis. Black History Month events pick up again on February 23rd with a discussion about how the Chicago public school system serves its Black students. The Rolling Stones are coming to Chicago. Well, their belongings are at least. Navy Pier will display hundreds of Rolling Stones memorabilia as part of the exhibitionism show this April. Visitors will get to see instruments, costumes, and sets from the band's more than 50-year career. The show will be on display through July. Tickets will range from $25 to $35 and go on sale February 24th. That's our news for today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another edition of Loyola News Chicago. Have a great day.